welcome to or back to my channel. My name is James Feeney. Today I am here, as the title will tell you, to take you guys through a self-care reading or spread that I've designed and show you guys the positions, show you guys the spread and take you through it so that you might do it yourselves or be able to conduct the reading for yourselves and know the spread. So I really like enjoying spreads and getting into spread design, especially having a lot of extra time on my hands these days. I think it's really important to focus on self-care and the things that we can do and being productive at home, and not just productive in a sense of getting things done in work, but productive in the sense of taking care of ourselves, spending time with ourselves, and feeling like we are still growing and almost self-actualizing as human beings, and you know what I mean? So the decks that I'm going to be using for this reading are the Fox Universe Tarot Self-Care Oracle. So it's in the structure of a tarot, but the positions, or not positions, the cards themselves and the suits don't necessarily correspond to what, say, the Five of Wands would be in a suit. It's not the, how do I want to put this? They don't correspond. So it's its own system, but you can totally do this spread with a normal tarot deck, with a Rider-Waite-Smith or a Thoth, or any tarot deck you'd like. But I find that I really enjoy this deck for self-care, and it works really well for self-care spreads and things like that. So I'm going to be using that, and I highly recommend this. So if you're looking for a self-care item or a tool to help you with self-care and you're in the market for decks, I have a review of this one. You can check that out. And then I'm also going to be using the Moon deck, which is more affirmation style, but there are rituals and actions to take along with the cards. It's very positively minded and constructive. So I find that this one's really great. So in place of this, if you aren't using the Moon deck, I would recommend using either an affirmation or an oracle deck that usually would give you maybe an action or something a bit more positive. And we're only going to use one card from this, so if you don't want to do this portion of the reading and you just want to do the main meat of the reading with, say, a tarot, that's fine. This is a lot more optional and like an add-on. So I am thinking that I'm going to put this reading that I'm going to show you guys on my website for as an option that you can book with me, but of course I wanted to come on and share it with you guys and allow you guys to be able to do it for yourselves if that's something you're interested in. Maybe you don't have the money, or maybe you're not looking to book a reading with me, which is totally alright, and you should still be able, I feel, to benefit from, say, what these could do for you and the self-care aspect to that. So I think it's fun for all of us, and I'm going to take you guys over to my tarot table as we lay down the cards, go through the spread positions, and I take you through how I would say conduct this reading for myself or someone else. We are over at my tarot table now, and I am going to start laying out the cards for us so that we can learn the spread positions and see how this reading might be conducted. So this is more of an explanation as opposed to an actual reading, so I won't be actually interpreting the cards and going into the messages so much. It's more about learning the spread and the idea of what it entails. So I have my Fox Universe Tarot, a self-care oracle, and this is going to be the one that we're using for the meat of the reading. Again, you can use any sort of tarot or oracle deck in place of this. I just love this deck, and if you were to, say, book a reading with me, I would probably use this deck for your reading. So we would give it a nice shuffle as I throw the cards everywhere. Don't mind me. I usually like to riffle shuffle. This one is pretty thick, doesn't riffle shuffle very well. So we would lay down the cards in however you like to lay down the cards and select them for given positions. This is a triangle or an upside down pyramid. You might also think that it kind of resembles the glyph for water, which I think is important. The idea of that emotional aspect to the fluidity and well-being that water represents and the healing aspect it represents. So I felt that that was an important way to sort of form the spread. I do keep in mind when I make spreads of the shapes that the cards form and how that might impact the reading and what sort of nuances and extra layers we can add through the spread positions and the full formation. So this is the meat of the reading, and for our oracle or extra card we have here, that can go anywhere, but it just is kind of outside of the main area of the reading. So for that one, not too fussed about where we put it. And we'll just pop this guy to the outside. Again, this is extra if you wanted to have an extra oracle card or affirmation card, or especially if you have something or a type of oracle that gives you something constructive to do. So I like this to be a very action-oriented card if possible for this reading. So again, if you got this reading from me, I would probably use the Moon Oracle, and the constructive ritual that comes with each card to me is a nice add-on. So for our first position up here, this is going to be, oh, and they're all upside down. No, they're not. Just that one apparently, or some I guess are, because I can see they're not reversible backs. Anyway, unimportant. So our first position here is going to be how we check in with ourselves, or a self-diagnostic. So I think it's important to know where we're starting out, where we're coming from as we're entering this reading, so that we can get that more reflective sense of our current energies, our current space in terms of self-care. And chances are, if you are conducting this reading, you're either really on top of it and proactive, and so you are in an alright place and nothing too drastic is going to come up here. But there's also really high likelihood that if you are in need of, say, a reading like this, that something constructive or out of balance is going to appear here. Again, these cards were not really shuffled with any intention, so whatever comes up isn't really indicative of anything, and we're not going to go into that. But this would be where we are currently in terms of self-care or with ourselves. So this would be a card of the self in the present sense, and how we would look at ourselves in a current standpoint. Next, we would get into what we might benefit from bringing into our lives and what we kind of need to bring into our lives. So this would be where we would see whatever is going to balance or enhance this card in the present, and how we might bolster that, what we are maybe seeking out or in need of, that missing piece, or a piece or aspect of us that could be worked on, something that might further us in a personal sense and help us to care better for ourselves. So it's what we do then need or would benefit from bringing into our lives. The next and third card position is going to be how it is that we go about achieving this. So it's nice and all good and well to know that this is something we might benefit from bringing into our lives, but without any action plan or ways to go about or steps to go about ushering it into our lives, we're kind of left high and dry, and nothing will really happen if we don't make changes. So yeah, so this card is our more action-oriented card, how we are going to achieve this, what sort of steps we can take, or energies and perspectives we might want to embody or invite in to be able to get to this place, the things that we'd like to invite in. So now we have the action we want to take to achieve this, and this here is meant to enhance or balance or further the ends of where our current energies are currently situated. Moving down here, on this level, we are talking about obstacles. So with this card right here specifically, an upside down one, we are looking at the obstacles we might encounter, things that are maybe standing in our way or detracting from our self-care, things that might be dragging us down or that might get in the way from ushering this in or achieving this. So we want this, so this is either something that's going to block us on our road to this, or is currently afflicting us in some way. So it's important to look to this and try to understand in what way and capacity it's permeating our lives and affecting us. Then when we move over to the card to the right, this is again another action-oriented card. You'll notice that usually the ones to the far right are more action-oriented here. We are going to look at how we might overcome this obstacle or best handle it so that it doesn't manifest as a permanent issue or something that can completely drag us down. We want to move past it. We want to get the better of that obstacle and not allow it to get the better of us. So this is the card that's going to tell us how we can do that. Maybe, again, the perspective we might want to take on so that this obstacle here is not so overwhelming or encompassing or something that we might want to do. So it really depends on how you're interpreting the given card and what it's saying to you, but this is essentially how we're overcoming the obstacle that we found in this spread position. Finally, down here at the bottom, our last little guy is more of a future forecast. And this is where we are going to soon be in terms of self-care or a self-check-in. This is going to let us know, sort of, given the path that we're on, currently, where we're likely to end up and what that might entail. So it's here to kind of let us know that given the ability to make these certain changes, where we might wind up, or if you get something that's a little bit off or out of alignment, you might want to check in and think about really seriously implementing these changes so that you don't get there. Say if you start and it seems like you're in a really good place and there's interesting obstacles, and then we have this future forecasting card or this check-in for the future of what it is going to be in terms of self-care. We might want to actually implement some changes so that we can mitigate what this would become. A lot of times whenever I'm pulling a card that is a future forecast or meant to let us know what is likely to come in the future based on current decisions and actions, the best way to handle anything that appears that is less than positive or negative is to talk about changes that we can make, and so that we might avoid what it is to come. But I mean, this isn't a real reading, but we didn't get anything positive. I mean, we didn't get anything negative. So we have that. That is the essence of this self-care spread. And it's more about understanding ourselves. Self-care is about interacting with the self and how we can best have a relationship with ourselves and get through life in a way that is fulfilling, positive, engenders happiness, and where we're at our optimal state. So that's really what this is. It's a self-check-in, and a self-check-in through means of self-care, especially in terms of the actions that you're going to probably be asked to take, of what the cards are kind of asking for. Next, and the final card that appears in this spread, we have this card, and this is really funny. I mean, I did shuffle this on camera a bit for you guys, but I got this card yesterday, so maybe this is a little bit of a hint. But this is where I would say, after all is said and done, another card that's going to give us some action or give us a little bit of detail in a more creative and nuanced sense. So it's something that we can really tangibly sink our teeth into. So for this one specifically, where is it? The Moon deck comes with this guidebook, and we would go to, say, what is this, 41? And she comes with a ritual, clutter cleanse. And the card says, I trust the change unfolding in my life. So it then goes into a little bit more of what this card is speaking to. It's almost like its own meaning, but of course I would go probably into it a bit more than that. If you're really hoping to get something from it, you want to think about it more intuitively and in terms of yourself. But the real meat and the purpose of pulling this card is to get this ritual, and I think that this can be a lot of fun, and it can be really constructive. So that's a great one. So highly recommend. So this was a self-care spread of sorts. It kind of functions more like a check-in, a diagnostic. It's a little bit more constructive and action-oriented, so I think that that's something we can all benefit from in this time. So I'm going to take you guys back over to the view looking at me so we can wrap things up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this and that this all made sense for you. All right, guys, I'm back. So that was the self-care spread. I hope you guys enjoyed it, going through the positions, and I hope that you guys can use it. So if you do use it or you have your own self-care spreads, please let me know. I'm going to try to, when I design spreads, I have this big Word document with all of the positions lined out, so I will try to get a picture of that and put it in this video at some portion so that you guys can then copy it or get it and screenshot it, something like that. And I would love to know if you guys use it, how it went for you, and if you guys have any spreads, I would love to know what they are, and so I can try them out. I think it'll be fun to share spreads during this time, so we all have something constructive that we can do to really work on ourselves and get in touch with ourselves and use this time to the best of its abilities and in the ways that we can. So if you enjoyed this kind of video where I share a spread that I've made, let me know, because I do have some others that I think would be fun to share, and if you guys are up for it, I'd love to share them with you guys and take you guys through them. And if you want to book a reading with me, my website and all of my contact information are always in the description below, so that's an option for you as well. I hope you are all doing well. Like and subscribe and all that good jazz that I'm supposed to tell you guys or ask you guys to do. And until next time, bye guys.